Tonight on News Prime, Senate President Godswill Akpabio calls for strong collaboration among African nations. And the business, Nigerian equity market dips, shedding 1.45 trillion naira in the market capitalization. And on the foreign scene, Donald Trump sworn in as 47th President of the United States of America. And on sport, FC Porto has announced the dismissal of Vitor Bruno. Hello and welcome to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Edikan Michael. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 in Star Times, channel 276, and free-to-air and Nikomsat. Tonight we begin by telling the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has emphasized the need for parliamentary collaboration and unity among African nations, addressing the National Assembly of Côte d'Ivoire at the opening session at the 2025 First Ordinary Session of the National Assembly in Abidjan. Akpabio also called for strengthening of bilateral ties between Nigeria and Côte d'Ivoire. And now had a national conference in Kano regarding the position of Northern women on the proposed tax reform bills by President Bola Tinubu. Experts say there are many lapses to address despite some modifications to the bill. Our correspondent Idris Jibril was there and now has a report.
Organized by the Women's Wing of the Coalition of Northern Groups, this national conference is to deliberate on how women are affected by the controversial tax reform bill in Nigeria. Women from the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory argued that the bills do not in any way represent their aspiration in the region.
Well, my expectations are high, and like I said, I asked them. Most of them do not really know much about the tax reform bill. But to the glory of God Almighty, they are now aware that issues concerning the tax reform bill is very important that their voices are heard. So I believe that after this program, I'm going to get feedbacks, positive feedbacks from them. Their contributions is going to help when I tender my reports.
Although several modifications have been made to erase doubt in the minds of some Nigerians regarding the provisions of the bills, these people argued that the need for lawmakers to ensure transparency is crucial. At the end of this conference, expert believes that women will be fully mobilized to further understand the role they are expected to play in ensuring that the bill does not affect the overall well-being of Nigerians.
Nigerians are not enjoying. People are suffering. Over 90% of Nigerians are suffering with the current policies, ill policies that are designed by this administration. Unpopular policies, inhuman policies, ungodly policies that are only meant to make Nigerians to suffer. This is the situation we are. Actually, we went to Flato last week. We interact with the market women and so many other women groups. But unfortunately, they were saying it very clearly. They never knew what the tax reform bill is all about. Nobody even taught them what is the tax reform bill. They never knew anything about it. And they were convinced beyond any doubt that there is consolidation of levies. That's why I said there is difference between tax and levies. Nobody should deceive you by telling you there is consolidation of taxes. Levy is clearly different, and levy is what stopped market women in Nigeria.
Those in attendance include the chairman of the Council of Ulama, Sheikh Ibrahim Khalil, leader of the Coalition of Northern Groups, Nastura Asher, among other notable Nigerians. From Kano, Idris Jibrin reporting for Global Television News.
In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has appointed Prince Zara as the new Director General of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council in a move aimed at attracting foreign investment and improving Nigeria's business climate. Before appointment, although an entrepreneur and technology expert, was a technical advisor to the President on foreign direct investment. She replaced Jumoke Odwalo, who has been named Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment in the recent cabinet reshuffle. The House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence has called on President Tinubu to direct the Minister of Finance to ensure the full release of the 2024 capital allocation to the security and intelligence sector, emphasizing its crucial role in national security. Chairman of the committee, Ahmed Satomi, made the call during the budget defense session for agencies under the Office of the National Security Advisor. He expressed concern over the inadequate release of funds to some intelligence agencies, noting that while the security sector received a significant allocation, the intelligence subsector remains underfunded, assuring that the committee would explore ways to boost the funding for intelligence operations to strengthen national security efforts. Our Minister of Federal Capital Territory Nyesom Wike has voiced strong opposition to the creation of state police, citing concerns about the potential misuse of power by state governors. The minister stated this during a media chat, arguing that Nigeria's institutions lack the independence necessary to support the state policing system without risking abuse. Therefore, one that implementing state police without proper safeguards could lead to oppressive governance. And our French Republic has started plans to upgrade the laboratory of the Nigerian Geological Survey Agency and provided with advanced technological equipment. This follows advanced discussions of the Memorandum of Understanding it recently signed with the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the French government made a commitment to Nigeria on the sidelines of the ongoing Future Minerals Forum in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And our HACS academic staff of University ASU Ibadan Zone has urged President Bola Tinubu to protect Nigeria's educational landscape from the potential pitfalls of International Monetary Fund policies. The union, representing prestigious institutions such as the University of Ibadan, University of Ilorin, and several others, convened a press conference to voice their concerns regarding the proposed dissolution of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund (TET) in favor of the newly suggested National Education and Learning Fund. Our Minister of Labour and Employment, Mohamed Bagheri, has told the National Assembly Joint Committee on Labour and Employment and Productivity that 46 billion naira allocated to the ministry in the 2025 budget was insufficient to attain the set objective, especially in employment generation. Consequently, the minister called for more budgetary allocation to enable the ministry to scale up the performance of key areas of its mandate. Dingyadi spoke in Abuja at the 2025 Budget Affairs meetings with the House Committee and the Senate Committee on Employment, Labour and Productivity, respectively. EFCC, that is the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, has announced plans to auction of over 850 cars forfeited to the federal government across various locations in the country. In a statement issued by the Commission, said that the auction is in line with the EFCC Establishment Act of 2004, Public Procurement Act 2007, and the Proceeds of Crime Recovery and Management Act of 2022. Now the cars, which range from luxury vehicles to mid-range Toyota Camry, were recovered by the EFCC in the course of its investigation into various financial crimes, including corruption, money laundering, and cybercrime. The federal government has appointed Kevin Okana as the acting rector of Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron in Akwa Ibom State. The appointment takes immediate effect following the resignation of the former rector, Commodore Duja Efodwa, retired from the academy. It is contained in the statement issued by the head of public affairs of the academy, Doma Omoigbe, in Uyo, stating that the appointment was conferred in a letter signed by the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Oyetola, on behalf of the federal government. And our Ogun State, as government has begun an intensive rehabilitation of its 8 technical colleges with the aim of turning them into excellent vocational training centers, which is aimed at standardizing technical and vocational education in the state. And the communication officer of Ogun State Economic and Transformation Project, the World Bank supported initiative which is responsible for the funding of the upgrading of the technical colleges, Simbo Lainka, disclosed this in a statement, adding that the training is also aimed at equipping the students with industry-relevant skills through the modern machinery and tools. The Defense Headquarters has said that troops of Operation Fansayama have killed the terrorist kingpin Bello Tuji's son and many of his fighters during the clearance operations. The operations that were conducted on the January 17 along the Shinkafi Road and the Chino houses also led to the destruction of the terrorist logistics base. A statement by the outgoing Director of Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, said that Tuji's son was killed at the Fakai High Ground where the terrorists were hiding. He declared Tuji a coward for abandoning his son and fighters during the operations. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, has announced that 2025 Hajj Fair with intending pilgrims from southern state is expected to pay 8.1 million naira, while those from Borno and Adamawa zones will pay 8.3 million naira. And the Commission's chairman, Professor Abdullahi Usman, disclosed this in a statement in Abuja by NACON's Assistant Director of Information and Publication, Fatima Osara. Usman, who described the fair as a result of extensive deliberations with the key stakeholders, including the presidency and the state pilgrims, but noted that the intending pilgrims from the northern zone will pay 8.4 million for the pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NAMED, says that it will unveil its 2025 seasonal climate prediction in February. The 4,000 teams the role of early warnings towards the climate resilient aviation industry for sustainable economic development. Now, in a statement by the agency, noted that the presentation will provide critical climate-related forecasts for the year in line with its mandate to advise the government and public on weather, climate, and water-related matters. NAMED annually predicts and publishes climatic patterns, including the rainfall and temperature in the first quarter of each year. Now, speaking about the upcoming event, NAMED's Director General and the Chief Executive Officer, Professor Charles Amzuki, explained the significance of the document. That's all from Saturday's petrol tanker explosion has risen to 98 with 69 injured with 20 shops burnt to the ground. And now the figure as of Sunday was 86 with 55 injured, even as they were concerned that many of the injured victims may not survive given the grave nature of the injury. The Director General of the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, Abdullahi Baba, gave the latest figure in a statement. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When News Prime returns, Nigeria Labour Congress faults the fresh petrol price hike, says federal government insensitive. We shall bring you those details as well as that of business, foreign and sports stories right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks everyone for staying with us here on News Prime. And now to Nigeria Labour Congress says they have frowned on the recent hike in the pump prices of premium motor spirit, publicly called petrol, describing it as a height of insensitivity against the masses. Senior NLC officials disclosed this in a separate interviews as all marketers refuted being blamed for the recent hike in PMS prices nationwide. Similarly, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery also said that the rise in the petrol price was not from the 20 billion Lekki-based plant, but due to an increase in the cost of crude oil, the major component for refined petroleum products. At the morning, World of Business hearing in a suit filed by Dangote Petroleum Refinery and the Prochemicals over a bid to stop issuance of oil import licenses to some oil marketing companies has suffered a setback at a federal high court in Abuja. The matter, which was scheduled for hearing before Justice Inyang Akwo, could not proceed due to the delay by Dangote Refinery to serve it amended originating summons on the defendant. And I recall that Dangote Refinery had sued the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited as first and second defendant. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, in collaboration with stakeholders, have vowed to review its operation standards to avert explosions resulting from petrol tanker accident. Now, the Health, Safety, Environment and Community Chief Executive Officer Farouk Ahmed added there should be proper safety measures in place for response when there is an accident. Executive Director Dr. Mustafa Lamri, who represented him, said the authority will work out stakeholders to review the standards of operation. The Nigerian equity market experienced a loss last week, scaling from the 1.45 trillion naira in the market capitalization. The oil share index fell by 2.94%, closing the week at about 102,353.68 points, while the market capitalization also dropped by 2.26% to the 62.85 trillion naira. Bitcoin hit a record high above $109,000 as Donald Trump, who has signaled plans to deregulate the cryptocurrency, has been sworn into office. And now Bitcoin surged to reach an all-time peak of the $109,241 ahead of the Trump's inauguration before falling back to $107,765,000 at around the 740. Now, the world's biggest cryptocurrency has soared since Donald Trump won the presidential election in November, with Bitcoin surpassing $100,000 for the first time in early December. On the first scene, Donald Trump has been sworn in for a historic second term as president on Monday, pledging a blaze of imminent orders on immigration and the United States culture wars as he caps his extraordinary comeback. With one hand raised in the A and the other on the Bible given to him by his mother, the 47th U.S. president solemnly took the oath of office beneath the huge rotunda of the U.S. Capitol. Republican Trump and outgoing Democratic President Joe Biden had earlier traveled by the motorcade together to the Capitol, where the ceremony was being held indoors and with a much smaller crowd for the first time in decades due to the frigid weather. United States President Donald Trump said that he would implement anti-immigration measures from day one of his second term in office. He said that these on the eve of his inauguration in Washington, adding that all the illegal border transparencies will, in some form or another, be on the way back home. While there have been a rise in crime in some areas of the U.S., experts attribute these to a complex sociopolitical causes. French Prime Minister François Bayrou has warned that France and Europe risk being dominated and crushed and marginalized if they fail to counter the policies of United States President Donald Trump. Bayrou further noted that Trump's inauguration forces Europe to confront its responsibilities. He also referenced the power of China as a critical factor in the global geopolitics. And out to United Kingdom, as the Prime Minister Keir Starmer has also congratulated the U.S. President Donald Trump, expressing confidence that the special relationship between the two nations will continue to flourish for years to come. Starmer paid tribute to the depth of friendship between the 47th President and United Kingdom and pledged to continue to work together to ensure the success of both countries and deliver for people on both sides of the Atlantic. And more on the foreign news, a fragile ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war is held following the dramatic exchange of 3 hostages for 90 Palestinian prisoners in an agreement aimed at ending more than 15 months of war in Gaza. Now the 3 hostages released on Sunday, all women, were reunited with their families and taken to a hospital in central Israel, where a doctor said they were in a stable condition. And hours later, in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, the Palestinian prisoners released by Israel left Offa prison on buses with jubilant crowds celebrating the arrival. As the ceasefire took effect, thousands of displaced and war-weary Palestinians set off across the devastated Gaza Strip to return home. Now to sport news tonight, the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has set in motion concrete plans to organize a 4-month CAF by licensed coaching course that is designed to enhance the capacity of Nigerian coaches and prepare them for current and future challenges. The Federation's Technical Director, Augustine Akweven, said the course is part of NFF's strategic effort to build the capacity of coaches across the country and will be done in models. FC Porto announced that the dismissal of Vitor Bruno, making him the 3rd coach to be sacked by one of the Portugal's 3 main clubs this season, and now the 42-year-old took over from the new AC Milan boss Sergio in a close season, but was dismissed after Porto lost ground in the title race following the back-to-back league defeats this month. Now the Thunder 3-1 away just to the back to Porto's 3rd consecutive defeat in all competition. They had also been beaten by the Sporting Lisbon in the semi-finals of the League Cup on January 7. A record 31-time Copa del Rey winners Barcelona will face Valencia in the quarterfinals after the away pair in the Monday's draw. The now Spanish and European champions Real Madrid travel to the neighbors, and while Atletico Madrid hosts the Getafe in another capital derby clash. Now to the world of tennis, Novak Djokovic was at the center of another Australian Open row while defending the champion. Jannik Sinner needed medical attention in the first hit to battle into the quarterfinals. However, American teenage qualifier Lena Chen's farewell run is over after he suffered a high problem in a 4-set defeat to Italy's Lorenzo while temperature rising above 30 degrees Celsius for a second successive day, and a bit of orange showers then declined to shake the Russians on. As we wrap up the news prime, let's take a look at our top stories. We told you earlier, the President of the Senegal, Soula Gbagbo, has emphasized the need for parliamentary collaboration and unity among African nations. On the business of the Nigeria equity market experienced a loss last week, shedding 1.45 trillion naira in the market capitalization. And on the foreign scene, Donald Trump has been sworn in for a historic second